there, my name is Jenny and I'm a Crohn's disease thriver. That's right, thriver, not survivor, thriver. Because I'm doing very well on the raw food diet and healing my Crohn's on my own without taking medication, which I did take in the past. And I want to give you a little bit of information on how you can help yourself if you have Crohn's disease or colitis or IBS, any kind of irritable bowel syndrome. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my story and what you can do to help yourself. So first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I came about with my journey, you know, my Crohn's disease and everything. So things started when I was about 16 years old. You know, if you have Crohn's, you know what happens. You start to get very sick. And for anybody who is squeamish or whatever, there might be some TMI information in here you might want to not watch. I'm not really sure what I'm going to say. I'm kind of going by the seat of my pants. So if you don't want to hear too much information, I suggest you switch to another video. Okay? Thanks. Okay, so if you want to know what Crohn's disease is and you don't really know what it is, it's a form of inflammatory bowel disease that can infect your body, like anywhere from your mouth all the way to your anus, inside your body. And what happens is you can get you could get ulcers, you can get but it's hard for me to explain. You get like these things called fistulas where your body attacks itself, and it kind of like your flesh kind of can eat away at itself and cause these tunnels to dig throughout your body, and then they could be like leaking pus, and you get gas, and you have constant chronic diarrhea. And okay, so basically when I was 16, I started having chronic diarrhea, and I was sick every day, and I ended up losing like 35 pounds in like a month or two. And I wouldn't go to the doctor. My parents were really worried, and I refused to go because I was convinced that I had cancer, and I was terrified, and I really didn't want to know. I was like, well, if I die, I die, whatever. I don't want to know that I have cancer. So I just kept dealing with it on my own. And I would go to school, and I had PE first class of the day, and I used to have to call my mom all the time to come and pick me up because I'd be sick first thing in the morning. And I'd be embarrassed, and I just couldn't make it through PE class, so I'd have my mom come and pick me up. And then these are kind of the things that were like, okay, you really have to go to the doctor, like this is affecting your entire life, you have to do something about it. But I still would not go until one day, here comes some TMI, you might want to look away, close your ears, plug your ears. I was having this pain in my behind, and it started building up so much that one day I could barely walk. It was so painful, and I was at home, and I just woke up in so much pain, and I told my mom, I'm not going to school today, like I can't go. And she didn't understand, and I'm just like, I'm in so much pain. And then I couldn't even walk, and I was trying really hard to walk, and she's looking at me like I'm crazy, you know, because she doesn't know what's going on. And then so I just start sobbing, I'm crying, whatever. And this goes on like for a couple days where I just can barely walk and I'm in pain. And then I'm with my best friend and her mom. Most embarrassing thing that could like ever happen. One of the most embarrassing things anyway. I'm in their car, and all of a sudden there's water underneath me everywhere, all over the seat. And I could feel that pressure disappeared that I had been having for days. And so what happened was my body developed the fistula, a fistula, which had ate away at my insides and caused a pocket of pus. And that opened up down there in my behind area and started leaking all the pus out all over my best friend's mother's car. I was mortified. Worst day of my life. And thank God they're such amazing people, and they totally like tried to get a hold on the situation, and I was, you know, sobbing uncontrollably, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was really young. I told them I have hemorrhoids. Like, I thought that's what it was. I had no clue. So they're like, okay. They didn't understand, you know, and I didn't really know what a hemorrhoid was, obviously. So they called my mom, and I don't remember what happened after that. I just know that after that, I finally went to the doctor. And it took them quite a while to diagnose me with Crohn's disease, because back then it wasn't prevalent like it is now in our society for everyone to have some kind of irritable bowel syndrome. The doctors thought I was lactose intolerant, and I told them I've been drinking milk my whole life. You know, I've never had a problem before. And they told me, well, just try to stop, you know, don't do dairy anymore, and we'll do like an elimination thing. And I was convinced it's not that, so I didn't really listen to them. And anyway, years went on, blah, blah, of me going through torturing myself, trying to eat foods that I shouldn't have been eating, and getting sick. Like, there'd be days where I would take 8 to 10 Imodium AD to try to stop diarrhea, and they would not help one bit. They would just pass right through me. I was on some drugs called Asacol. The pills would just pass right through me. Would not help. Nothing would help. And then finally, in 1999, I ended up with five fistulas instead of one, because I didn't take my medication properly when they gave me, I think it was Cipro that they gave me to clear up the first fistula that I had. And I took it until it was almost healed, and I ran out of medication right before the hole had closed up. And so I was like, oh, it'll heal on its own. It'll, you know, whatever, it'll be fine. No, worst idea. So I didn't go back for medication, and it got worse, and I ended up with 5 fistulas. More TMI, guys. Warning. It'd be so bad that there was like 3 on one side and 2 on the other side. And if you push on one, pus would come out the other side. So I was leaking everywhere, every day. And this is like the worst time in my life. I had to have surgery. This was in 1999, like I said. Excuse me. And luckily, my family was still under military insurance, so they paid for everything. And I did not have my intestines or my colon removed. I've been very lucky in that respect that I've never had to have any of my intestines or colon removed. I've just had surgery for the fistula, and what they did was they cut like this deep down into me, about this big, that deep, on one side, and then a little bit on the other side. And they had to put these rubber bands in to help it clear out and clean out all the pus and the leakage. And then I had to go back to the hospital every day for like 3 or 4 months, and it's a 45-minute drive from where we live, to sit in the whirlpool so that my flesh could build back up, and, you know, so that I wouldn't end up with a deep scar. You know, there's still a scar, but it's not like a big cavern, you know what I mean? So that's a little bit about what I've been through. You know, living with it every day, that doesn't even tell you much, you know. For people that have it, you know what I'm talking about. It's an everyday thing. It's one of those silent diseases that people who don't have it have no clue. They don't understand. They can try to sympathize, and a lot of the time, like, you look okay, you look just fine, but then you have terrible gas pains in your stomach, you have bloating, you know, you feel lethargic, you get anemic. I was anemic for a long time in high school. When I started getting it, I would literally go to school, be like this all day long, falling asleep at my desk. I would come home, I would sleep until my parents forced me to get up for dinner. I would eat dinner, most of the time get sick afterwards for a while, and go back to bed, sleep all night long, and do it again the next day, where I would just be so exhausted all the time. And then until they put me on iron supplements, which did help after a while. Anyway, so my point is, after everything I've been through, I've slowly found the right path to healing. So I have to say, I am not a medical doctor. This is just my opinion. Please consult your medical doctor if you'd like to change your lifestyle or if you have any questions. Disclaimer, right? Okay, so I want to tell you guys that the first book that I found when I was probably like 18 or 19 after I'd been sick for a while and I was tired, and I just was convinced. I don't even know where I got the idea, but I was convinced that diet was the answer. I don't care what your doctor tells you. Diet does matter. It does matter. It's the most important thing you could ever do for your health. This is the first book that I found. It's called Patient Heal Thyself by Jordan S. Rubin. He had Crohn's disease. Sorry. Like me, he lost a lot of weight in the beginning when he got really sick, and now he's happy and healthy, and he doesn't have any problems anymore either, and he has his own supplement company, and he's thriving, and he has a wife and kids, and he's living a beautiful life now because he took his health into his own hands, and he decided, like me, that he wasn't going to settle for sick and tired and miserable for his entire life. And you should do the same, because there's no reason why we should be sick and play the victim and live that way for the rest of our lives. The thing that has been kind of making me want to rant lately is that I sometimes go on social sites like Instagram, Facebook, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, I want to encourage people who have Crohn's, who have colitis, to research, to help themselves, to try different things. And a lot of the time I get the victim mentality from people. Oh, you know, I'm one of those cronies who, I just can't handle fruits and vegetables. You know, I've heard that quite a few times from people. And it frustrates me, because I'm like, do you think that I was a crony who could handle fruits and vegetables? Every single thing that I ate went right through me. It didn't matter what it was. Excuse me, I got hair or something. It didn't matter what it was. I was sick no matter what I ate for a long time, until I finally made the diet, really the diet connection. I mean, I'm 33. I've been dealing with this since I was 16. And just within the last year and a half, I've really, you know, I'm like 90% better than I was ever before. Yeah, there might be a tiny little bit of a flare-up every once in a while, but it's kind of like trial and error. I ate too much ginger one day, and my stomach was upset for like an hour, and I didn't feel well, and I was tired and took a nap, and then I was fine. Back in the day, it would have been like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 hours in the bathroom, running back and forth, feeling crampy, hurting, being in pain, being miserable. And now it's like, okay, you deal with it for a little bit, and then it's over, and then you know not to eat that food again. At least for a while, until your body has more time to do more healing. I'm not saying I'm 100% healed. I'm saying that I'm 90% better, if not more, than I used to be. And it can be done. So, other things that I recommend, you know, research for yourself. Look for testimonials. I'm going to put about 6 testimonials in my description for you guys to check out. A blog one and some YouTube videos. And I'm only going to do about 6 because guess what? You need to start taking your health into your own hands and start doing the research. Start really believing that you can be healed, because you can be. You have to make that decision to change your own lifestyle, to change your life. You can't just sit around and be complacent. It's up to you. So, another book I recommend is Self-Healing Colitis and Crohn's by David Klein. Dr. David Klein. So there is information out there. There's lots of information out there that will set you on your path to healing. You know, everybody's body might be slightly different. Like if you've had your colon removed, or if you've had some of your intestines removed and it's extra hard for you to digest things, you know, I recommend like watching people or finding people that are similar to you that are trying to do this lifestyle. I can recommend one YouTube channel. It's Bert Being Human. I'll put it below. She has lost a lot of her intestines and part of her colon, I believe, like half of her colon, I believe. And she's thriving on this lifestyle. And yes, she still has to run to the bathroom, and she sometimes has trouble getting enough water in because everything goes through her still. but she feels better. She feels vibrant. She doesn't feel crampy and sick. She might have to go to the restroom more frequently, but she doesn't feel like a miserable human being that, you know, you don't really feel like living anymore when you have this disease a lot of the time. I know I wanted to commit suicide at one point, and I tried to, and I'm glad that that never happened. Anyway, so another book that I recommend is The 80-10-10 Diet by Douglas Graham. If you decide to go into raw foods, which I highly recommend you do, I recommend reading this book from cover to cover. It will give you lots of good information on why fruit is the best. Fruit and greens are the best foods for humans. You should definitely give up meat and dairy. Those are the worst, most inflammatory, disease-causing foods that are really messing you up. If you're not vegan yet, please, for your own health, for your own sanity, go vegan. You need to do it for your health. And okay, for people who get offended by the vegan, okay, plant-based diet. Go on a plant-based diet, and then eventually you'll probably develop some compassion after watching some documentaries like Earthlings, Food Matters, The Gerson Miracle. I don't know, there's a million different documentaries you can watch on Netflix and online. I recommend you watch those as well. But so go on a plant-based diet, and I'm telling you, it will change your life. And if you are like me and you have had a very hard time giving up foods, cooked foods, or even if you want to do raw till 4, which is fruit up until 4 p.m. and then you can have a low sodium, high carb, low fat, vegan dinner. Sometimes I want to go all raw, so I'm having a trouble staying away from cooked foods. This is a good book to read, Breaking the Food Seduction by Neil Bernard, doctor. This is a very good book to help you try to get over your bad habits. And if you want scientific information on how to, like if you don't believe that meat and dairy are bad for you, and you need more proof, read the China study, T. Colin Campbell. I'm in the middle of reading this one still, but I've seen lots of documentaries that have clips from him, and I've watched speeches from T. Colin Campbell on YouTube. And yeah, if you don't like to read, go on YouTube and look up clips of the China study and listen to his lectures, and you'll find reasons why meat and dairy is really bad for you. Also, you should watch The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky. That is on YouTube. That's also going to be in my description below, the link to that. If that doesn't change your mind in some way on not only your health, but the fact that just meat and dairy is horrible for the environment, it's horrible for people starving in other countries, like it's just ruining our environment. And also, you should be changing all your products from like shampoo and stuff that has parabens and sulfates and stuff like that. You need to change your body care products to all natural products, like non-fluoridated toothpaste, like I said, shampoo, moisturizer, everything that you put on your skin absorbs. So all those chemicals are not helping you heal. You need to switch everything to natural products, preferably organic if you can. I mean, I know it's expensive to start switching everything, and you probably shouldn't do it all at once, but a little bit at a time, it'll help you. And if you have, you know, oh, it's too hard, I don't like to cook, I don't know what to make, get something like this, the Vegan Daily Vegan Planner. It has tons of recipes, you know, and look at that. Food charts and tracking things and like all kinds of information. You can write right in the book if you want to. And for people that are worried about their budget, you can get this one, Raw Foods on a Budget. Lots of good tips in this one. How to grow your own container garden in your house, and how to save all your receipts and figure out your budget, and recipes as well. It has lots of good stuff. So, you know what? Like I said, there's really no excuse. You have to take your health into your own hands, like I said. And stop playing the victim. Stop being the victim. You are not your disease. You are not Crohn's disease. Like, I am Jenny. I am not, hi, I'm Jenny with Crohn's disease. Like, I don't tell people that unless something comes up where we're having a conversation, or I'm not feeling well, I feel gas pains or something one day, and people are like, you don't seem like yourself, then I might be, oh, you know, this is why, but it's fine, I'll be okay, you know. So that is my recommendations for anyone. And I don't mean to be offensive, I just really want people to realize and wake up, you know. Stop drinking the fluoridated water. Wake up and realize your entire life is in your own hands. You know, I'm still on my journey, I'm still learning as well, but I know now that everything, my future, my health, my happiness is in my own hands. So I'm taking control right now, and I think that each of you who are sick and feeling horrible should take control, and you can change your lives as well. So what I did in the beginning when I first found out about the raw food diet, actually took me a lot of years, because when I first found out about the raw food diet, I did the high fat raw. I was eating a lot of nuts and seeds and lots of almonds and things like that, and it did not work for me. It totally gave me flare-ups all the time. And so it took me about another 4 years of watching, you know, people on YouTube, Fully Raw Christina and Megan Elizabeth and John Kohler, and I used to watch a lot of people for a long time before I decided to try this lifestyle again. And let's see, it's July. Last June in 2013, I decided to do Banana Island, which is where you're supposed to eat 30 bananas a day for a month. But I didn't make, you know, I couldn't do that, but I did do fruit smoothies every day as much as I could, and I think I only messed up a few times in that month where I ate something that wasn't a smoothie, but that month was a major healing experience for my body. That just started it all, where I felt better, my digestion felt amazing, I didn't have gas or cramping anymore. I just felt great, and I was like, you know, wow, this really is the answer. Like, I'm gonna keep trying to do this. And like I said, I read Breaking the Food Seduction because I still have problems sometimes going high fat, or going back to salty foods, or eating too much cooked food, because they usually end up being like high fat. When I eat cooked food, it ends up usually being high fat, and then I end up, you know, making myself sick. And the thing is like, when you start healing from Crohn's, at least in my experience, once you start healing and you are eating good foods and you give up the meat and everything, instead of having diarrhea, you end up getting constipated. So you end up having the opposite problem, especially if your intestines have constricted, which does happen with Crohn's disease, which is what I have. They've constricted and they're only probably like this big. They're really small. And so I still have to drink Miralax twice a day and make sure things are moving, but I'd much rather have that problem than have the other one where I'm running to the restroom 30 times a day and majorly having cramps and pain and sickness. So I would recommend doing a Banana Island. You can go to 30bananasaday.com and get support and join their forum and have other people do it with you. And there's all kinds of support on there from other raw foodists or people trying to become raw. And if you are interested in doing the Raw Till 4, there's also a Raw Till 4 Facebook group. You can just look up Raw Till 4. And so like I said, do some research. Start reading some books and watching some documentaries, and, you know, get going on your journey, because now is the time. Thanks for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks so much.